A saint who kills, does he still remain a saint? And a fighter or a warrior who strives to bring life, does he still remain a fighter or he becomes a saint? Once upon a time, there was a saint who killed thousands of people and became an assassinator, while there was a warrior, a fighter, whose job it was to fight and kill people. But he strived and strived again to bring new life on this earth. Hello and welcome to Indian Mythology in Modernity, and today we are in part 2 of Why Duryodhana Went to Heaven. In our previous episode, I have given an introduction of how Yudhishthira was shocked when he was taken to heaven after his life on earth came to an end. He found Duryodhana there, seated on a grand throne. He was enjoying all the luxury and the glory equal to the gods. But he couldn't find his brothers there. He couldn't find his devoted wife there. So Yudhishthira questioned the gods, including Yama, Indra, and Narada, that where were the righteous people? Why weren't they in heaven? While Duryodhana, who was an unrighteous and sinful person, was sitting there in heaven enjoying all the respect. To his question, the gods answered very briefly that we humans are filled equally with good and evil. So each of us have to go through both the phases of heaven and hell. So just as Duryodhana was enjoying heaven, he would have to spend his life in hell as well. And just like Yudhishthira would be taken to heaven for a longer term, he was given a glimpse of hell before that. So this was the explanation that the gods provided, that based on your karma, which includes both good and evil, you will be rewarded heaven and hell. But we had discussed that there is a hidden story in Mahabharata. In the very beginnings of Mahabharata, we have a mystery embedded, which actually answers the question why Duryodhana went to heaven. Let's talk about that. Once, when nothing almost existed on this earth, it was a period between emptiness and existence. At that point of time, there was someone called Parshuram. He was the son of Jamadagni Rishi, and yes, he is the same Parshuram who was a valiant fighting saint. He is also known as the avatar of Lord Vishnu. One of the avatars of Lord Vishnu. Yes, that same Parshuram was on a fret of killing the Kshatriya kings. Yes, he kept killing Kshatriya kings because he wanted to avenge the death of his father, who died at the hand of one of the Kshatriya kings. But Parshuram was so angry that he would stop at nothing. He kept killing the Kshatriya kings because he just hated the clan of the Kshatriyas. He kept killing and killing and killing till he created 5 lakes of blood. Yes, at that point of time, Parshuram's ancestors actually begged him to stop. They said that if you keep doing this, if you keep killing the Kshatriyas just because one Kshatriya king killed your father, then there will be no leaders on this earth. There will be no civilization. So please stop. At that point of time, Parshuram's rage was subsided. He stopped killing. But till then, there was nothing left. Only blood all around. Yes, he had filled 5 lakes just with the blood of Kshatriyas. He knew that this killing was a sinful act, and so he folded his hands onto the gods and asked for their forgiveness. He prayed so that these pools of blood would become sacred places. The gods granted him a boon, and thus his sins were absolved. The place which was filled with blood became sacred and holy. But no life ever came out of there. It was barren. It was filled with blood. There was nothing growing there. Till one day, after many years, a king called Kuru arrived there. The king tilled the soil of that land to make it fertile. He used his flesh as seed and his blood to water the land, and he kept tilling the soil till some life would emerge from that barren place. Seeing this act of the king, Lord Indra was really amused. He found his act really funny because he was actually attempting a task which was next to impossible. So Lord Indra came down to King Kuru and asked him, "What are you doing? And why are you doing this? Do you really think that you can bring life out of this barren land filled with blood?" Then King Kuru answered Indra that he was doing this because he wanted to make a promised land where anybody who died there would directly go to heaven. And he would not give up his hope, whatever happened. Indra laughed at him. He mocked the king and ridiculed him and went back to heaven. But King Kuru was not depressed. He was confident of himself, and he kept on tilling the soil because he wanted to create a land where his later generations could rest in peace. Indra kept watching the king. He was surprised at his endeavor. He was surprised at the hard work King Kuru was giving to the land. After many years of the same thing going on, the gods were really worried. They started fearing that King Kuru might just be successful in creating such a land where anybody who died would go straight to heaven. If that happened, then people would not have to do anything else but just go and die there, just to get heaven. Then nobody would worship the gods, nobody would give the gods gifts or feedings. And what would happen to their reign? They would lose all their power. The gods were really anxious. So they requested Indra to go down again to King Kuru, and whatever happened, he must stop him. A very frightful and anxious Indra now went down to King Kuru in order to stop him from tilling the soil. So let's read what Indra said to King Kuru now. Indra said, "Do not toil anymore. Act according to my words. Those men that will die here having abstained from food with all their senses awake, men of sense control, and those that will perish here in battle, that is warriors, shall attain heaven." So, in order to stop King Kuru from tilling the soil further, Indra gave him a boon. Indra said that those men who had tremendous self-control and who died here would get heaven, and those who fought in the battlefield and died like warriors on this land would also go to heaven. Since Duryodhana fought like a true warrior and gave up his life on the battlefield of Kurukshetra, therefore he went straight to heaven. So now we know the mysterious story which lies in the very beginning of the Mahabharata, and we get an answer to why Duryodhana was taken to heaven after death. But there is still a question lingering here. After Narada took Yudhishthira through the tour of hell, he actually, after that Yudhishthira didn't like that place at all because he was very cringed with the sight and the smell of the place. Narada actually told Yudhishthira that this sight of hell that he just saw was nothing but an illusion. He had to get that illusion because he had to pay for his sins. Now, if this explanation is true, that the sight of hell was an illusion, then can we presume that the sight of heaven where Yudhishthira found Duryodhana, even that was an illusion? That's a tricky question now. So heaven and hell, do they really exist, or are they all illusions of the mind? questions are really hard. Another question comes here as we go through the story of Parshuram and King Kuru. Now, Parshuram was the son of a saint. He was a saint himself, but he could fight like a warrior too. But this person, Parshuram, whom we also know as one of the avatars of the great Lord Vishnu, kept killing thousands of Kshatriya kings only because he wanted to avenge the death of his father from one Kshatriya king. Now, how just is that? In fact, in the process of these battles, Parshuram actually killed many innocent people and many innocent animals. It is also believed that King Kuru's cattle also died in this ferocious battle between Parshuram and the Kshatriyas. So, can a lord actually do so much unjust things, so much sinful deeds? And if he can, then how he remains a saint? And King Kuru, who was actually a Kshatriya by dharma and whose work it was to fight in battle and kill people, actually strived for years to bring life on this earth. His hard work and efforts actually paid. From there, the land that he tilled, from there emerged the kingdom of Hastinapur. Actually, he gave birth to a new civilization, and that place came to be known by his name, Kurukshetra, about which we still read today in our epics and historical stories. So these questions are really interesting and straight, but the answers to them are very difficult. Like, what is heaven? What is hell? Who is a saint and who is an assassinator? So these are questions which are very straight and interesting, but it's really, really tough to answer them in straight words. But we all have to find the answers to them in our own way. So let's keep finding them. Till the next time, till the next episode, we come back and we start discussing on something very interesting again. So friends, if you have liked the content today, please like, share and subscribe to my channel. The links to the readings have been given in the description box below so that you can refer to them and read through it. Till the next time, keep finding the answers to these questions and happy reading. Stay safe, stay healthy and keep coming back to inculcate in mythology. Thank you.